This was a way of these young kids getting together and expressing their thoughts and ideas about the world around them. It's actually more like a calligraphy. There's a lot of rhyme and reason behind why letters look a certain way, why they have movement, they have shape, it's a purposeful thing to write a certain way. My name is Antonio Marujo. I've been a lifelong artist. Art has been the one continuous thing that I've really felt a connection through my whole academic career. I started drawing since I was 5-6 years old. Towards my early teens, I discovered graffiti, and I just immediately gravitated toward it. It's a community-based art group. It had like a mentorship aspect to it where you would learn from guys that have been doing it for a long time. They would show you how to do different stuff, how cans work, different caps to get different line thicknesses. A lot of graffiti writers have done community art projects that incorporate the neighborhoods of where these kids come from, and they do clothing drives, and they try to really positively affect the neighborhoods that they come from. There are some common misconceptions about what graffiti is and who does graffiti. So a lot of the graffiti that came out of New York, which is where it started, was done by poor kids, and this was a way of these young kids getting together and expressing their thoughts and ideas about the world around them. And although it is true that some graffiti is affiliated with gangs and certain things like that, but that's a very small portion of what graffiti is.
My name is Rebecca Cram, and I have been an APS Fine Arts teacher for the last 5 years. This year we are at Trisco Elementary. I've been teaching this graffiti lesson for about 4 years now with my upper grades. It's really awesome because it connects kids to a medium and a genre that they see a lot around town. And it's neat because we're able to go into art history and talk about how historians agree that this is the only genre of art that was totally created by kids, especially when you're talking about graffiti in the United States starting in the 60s. So we talk about a lot of legality with graffiti, the style versus whether you're doing it legally or illegally. We look at a lot of local artists. I love working with kiddos in this area of town, especially because they get it, they see it a lot, and it's so important for them to see that there is a difference between defacing something that doesn't belong to you and creating something beautiful for someone, asking permission, making sure that you're being respectful to other people and their property. We work on a lot of empathy with this project. We imagine an adult that they love spending money, working late hours so they can get something, move the kids to a space that is safe, and then some teenager comes in and spray paints inappropriate things all over it. That would make you pretty mad. And so it's neat because I always get a big reaction out of them whenever we do that part. But we talk about how at the same time, if you're being respectful as an artist, you can look at the style and you can get a lot of really important skills, whether you're talking about contrast, shadows, line variety, thick and thin. They get a lot of really important skills with composition, like overlap and contrast. So it's really fun. It gets kids engaged who are not normally engaged in class. And usually after I teach this lesson, the kiddos are much more likely to buy into what we're doing in art class for the rest of the year. Due to constraints in the classroom and wanting to use the most affordable and best materials, usually what I'll do is I'll have students use permanent markers for our outlines while we're working on those thick and thin lines, and then we'll use either watercolor or a variety of water-based markers to create that effect of dark to light. We talk a lot about value. Water-based spray paints that have a much lower toxicity, they aren't going to be creating the fumes that you would normally see with spray paint. So for the first time, my students are actually going to get to see an artist use that spray paint, so the actual medium that is generally being used in this art style. And he's going to be bringing in some stencils that he often uses and potentially allowing some kiddos to play with it.